Okay, so we're gonna come back for the third part of this. So I got the sheath cut out, all that stuff. I contact cemented the edge where I want it to be glued together at, and then I clamped it in my vise for like 30 minutes. Then I come back and I actually decided not to use my flap wheel. I just used this cheap ass, I don't even know what do you call this thing? Like a cheap little Dremel tool from Harbor Freight. It's like $8. And I used that to clean up my edge, and it worked really good. It was way less mess than getting out the flap disc scatters leather dust all over the workshop. So now it's time to get out the actual leather working tools. And this little tool right here, this has this little 90-degree arm on it. Let's see if I can get it up close for you guys to see. Has this little 90-degree arm on it right there, and as you can see that little hole, it's easier to see from the back. That little hole right there, right here, that's actually like a little blade, and you set this to the specific dimensions that you want your stitch to be away from the edge of your leather, and then you just, usually I run it down the back of the sheath. So this is going to be a right-handed sheath, so this is the back. And you can do it either way. Like a lot of guys like to do it on the front of the sheath because this will help set the stitches down into the leather. But with this buckskin being a little bit thinner, I like to run my, I don't even know what you call this tool. I like to run this tool down the back of the sheath and create my groove where I'll run my overstitch tool, which you'll see in a second. And I like that because a lot of time this sheath is rubbing up against your body and all that stuff. And it helps your artificial sinew thread last a little longer. So all you do is take this thing and run it down here, and it'll cut a little piece of this leather out. See, there's a little ribbon of leather that comes out of the tool. Run that baby down like that, taking your time so you don't to get around this curvature in the sheath. Okay, so you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that nice little line straight down here, that little groove. And that gives me a guide to take my overstitch tool. Sorry, I'm coughing. I just went for a run. This overstitch tool just looks like a little stirrup. There's a bunch of little points on there. The heavier the leather, usually the further apart your stitches can be. I think this is a 10 stitch per inch wheel, I think, or 12 stitch per inch wheel. That's the finest one I have, so that's the one I tend to use on this buckskin. But all you do with that is take and get yourself started at a point where you want your stitches to end, and then you just run this overstitch tool right up that line you just created, and it will give you little indentations for your stitches, so you can drill your holes, or all your holes out for your stitches. It just keeps them evenly spaced. Keeps your stitches evenly spaced, which you want to make it look nice. Now these things can be hard to see in this very white colored buckskin, but you just got to get the right light. Now it's easy to push hard and get a nice indentation from the overstitch tool, but then you end up running the overstitch tool right off the edge of the leather and kind of defeating the purpose. So those little dots are really hard to see. I don't know if there's any way to... Oh, yeah, you can see there? There's small little indentations right along that line where we will go over to the drill press here in 1 second. And we're going to drill out those holes so that I can take this leather needle and I can stitch that right up. So you can see I got my 3 layers of leather in there. Doesn't look like much, it's all compressed together pretty tightly. And then we'll go drill our holes and we'll stitch it up. Now I'll take you over to the drill press, drill it, and then we'll start stitching right after that. And then whenever that's done, we'll put the belt loop on it. It would be ideal to put the belt loop on before you folded it, so you didn't have to reach down in here and try to stitch down inside of there. But you know, I'm only going to put like a 1.5 inch belt loop on it, so I'll be able to reach down in there and get that. Like I said, not ideal, but I didn't know how I wanted that belt loop. I didn't know if I wanted to put like a belt loop on it that would kind of hang up off the top of the sheath like this, or what I want to do. I think I'm just going to put a simple loop on the back of the sheath like that and just reach down in there and stitch it. But we'll stitch the outside first so it doesn't peel apart on us. I'll bring you back when I do that for part 4. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe.